You never get a second chance to make a first impression. It's a phrase we've all heard, but few of us truly understand how deeply it shapes our lives. The first few seconds you spend meeting someone new can influence how they see you for years. Whether it's a job interview, a business meeting, a first date, or a random encounter on the street, people begin forming opinions about you almost instantly, often before you've even spoken a word. Psychologists have found that humans form initial impressions within the first 7 seconds of meeting someone. In that brief moment, the brain analyzes everything: your face, tone of voice, body language, and even your clothing, to create a story about who you are. These judgments may not always be accurate, but they are powerful. Once a perception is formed, it becomes the lens through which every future interaction is viewed. A positive first impression can open doors to opportunity, while a poor one can quietly close them without you ever realizing why. Think about it. Every meaningful relationship or opportunity begins with a first impression. It is the spark that ignites connection, trust, and influence. When you meet someone new, you're not just exchanging words, you're communicating energy, emotion, and intent. People remember how you make them feel long after they forget what you said. The ability to create a lasting, positive impression isn't about luck or natural charm. It's a learnable skill. It's the result of awareness, preparation, and authenticity. A strong first impression isn't built solely on appearance. It's rooted in alignment, the harmony between who you are inside and how you express it outwardly. When your confidence, warmth, and sincerity reflect your true character, people sense it instantly. They respond not only to how you look or speak, but to the authenticity you radiate. First impressions are as much about emotional connection as they are about presentation. This book exists to help you master that art. It will guide you through the science and psychology of first impressions, showing how small actions and subtle cues can have a profound impact. You'll discover how to project confidence without arrogance, warmth without pretense, and presence without pressure. You'll learn how to make an impact that lasts, and how to recover if your first impression doesn't go as planned. By the time you finish reading, you will understand that first impressions are not accidents, they are choices. Every time you meet someone new, you hold the power to shape what they see, think, and feel about you. And when you learn to use that power with intention and authenticity, you won't just be remembered. You'll be respected, trusted, and admired. Chapter 1: The Human Brain and Snap Judgments. Every day we meet strangers, a co-worker's friend, a client, a barista, a neighbor, and within seconds, our minds decide what to think of them. We don't even realize it's happening. A smile, a frown, a certain tone of voice, and instantly our brain starts to categorize. We decide whether we like someone, trust them, or should be cautious. These quick decisions aren't random. They're the result of millions of years of evolution and countless mental shortcuts designed to keep us safe. The human brain is astonishingly fast when it comes to making sense of new situations. When we encounter someone for the first time, our subconscious mind gathers information far more quickly than our conscious mind can process it. Before we've even registered a person's name, our brain has already evaluated their face, body language, and voice to determine whether they are confident, friendly, threatening, or uncertain. This instant process, known as a thin-slice judgment, can happen in less than a second, and it shapes everything that follows. Evolution played a key role in developing this ability. Thousands of years ago, quick judgments meant survival. Our ancestors had to decide instantly whether a stranger was friend or foe. Those who hesitated often didn't survive long enough to pass on their genes. While modern life no longer requires us to make life or death decisions based on appearance, our brains still rely on the same ancient mechanisms. The instinct to judge swiftly remains hardwired into our biology. But here's the fascinating part. These snap judgments aren't always wrong. In many cases, our subconscious picks up on subtle cues, micro-expressions, posture, tone, and energy that reveal truths we might miss consciously. You can often sense when someone is insincere, nervous, or confident without them saying a word. The mind is constantly collecting and comparing this data against past experiences, silently drawing conclusions that feel like intuition. However, intuition can also be biased. The brain's need for speed sometimes sacrifices accuracy. We make assumptions based on appearance, age, gender, or even accent, all influenced by personal experiences and cultural conditioning. A confident person might be mistaken for arrogant. A quiet person might be seen as weak. This is why understanding how first impressions form is so powerful. When you're aware of the process, you can begin to influence it. Imagine walking into a room full of strangers. Before you say a word, they have already formed an opinion about you. Are you approachable, professional, genuine? You cannot control what others think, but you can shape the cues you send. Awareness is the first step. Once you understand what your body, tone, and expression are communicating, you can begin to align them with the message you truly want to send. The first impression you create begins long before you speak. It starts the moment someone sees you, in how you carry yourself, how you look around, how you make eye contact. The human brain notices these signals instantly, interpreting them through instinct rather than logic. And while people may later revise their opinion as they get to know you, that initial impression remains a powerful foundation that influences every future interaction. The truth is, our minds are wired to judge, but they are also capable of learning. Once you understand the science behind these rapid judgments, you gain the power to guide them. You can learn to project confidence instead of nervousness, warmth instead of hesitation, and authenticity instead of performance. The key lies in awareness, control, and intentionality. In the end, making a powerful first impression isn't about manipulation or perfection. It's about clarity, knowing how your presence is perceived and choosing how to express it. The brain will always judge. The question is, what do you want it to decide about you? Chapter 2. The Halo and Horn Effect. The human mind loves simplicity. When we meet someone for the first time, our brain looks for shortcuts, small details to help us decide quickly whether to like or distrust them. One of the most powerful of these shortcuts is known as the halo effect, a psychological bias that makes one positive trait overshadow everything else. If someone appears confident, kind, or attractive, we unconsciously assume they are also intelligent, trustworthy, and competent. A warm smile or a polished outfit can suddenly transform an ordinary person into someone we admire and respect. The opposite is also true. When a single negative trait stands out, it can create what psychologists call the horn effect. Just as one bright light can make a room glow, one shadow can darken an entire image. A nervous handshake, poor eye contact, or a dismissive tone can lead people to assume the worst, that you're careless, unkind, or unprepared, even when that isn't true. In a matter of seconds, a single impression can influence how every future action of yours is interpreted. This is why first impressions hold such immense power. People rarely see you as a collection of traits. They see you as a single, unified image. Once that image forms, their mind works hard to confirm it. If they perceive you positively at the start, they will naturally interpret your future mistakes as minor. But if they form a negative opinion early on, even your best efforts may be filtered through skepticism. The halo and horn effects are not fair, but they are real. And the people who understand them have a quiet advantage in every area of life. Consider this example. A person walks into a meeting dressed with care, stands tall, and speaks with calm confidence. Instantly, their colleagues assume they are capable, intelligent, and reliable. They've earned the benefit of the doubt without saying much at all. Now imagine another person who walks in slouched, looking uncertain or distracted. Before they even open their mouth, others may already question their credibility. These two impressions might be based on only a few seconds of observation, yet they can shape how each person is treated for months, perhaps even years. But this power can also work in your favor. The key lies not in faking an image, but in creating alignment between your behavior and your best self. When your outer presence reflects your inner confidence, people naturally respond with respect. A genuine smile, eye contact that conveys warmth, and a voice that carries calm authority all trigger the halo effect. They invite trust. When people sense integrity and self-assurance in you, their minds build positive assumptions around it. You become someone who feels right to believe in. However, awareness is equally important when it comes to avoiding the horn effect. Small, unconscious behaviors, crossing your arms, avoiding eye contact, or speaking too quickly, can send unintended signals. The good news is that awareness transforms control. When you understand the cues that trigger negative impressions, you can consciously adjust them. You can learn to replace anxiety with composure, uncertainty with confidence, and distance with connection. The most powerful impressions are not built on perfection, but on consistency. People remember how you make them feel. If they sense calmness, honesty, and openness in your presence, their perception of you will continue to be shaped by that initial glow, the halo you've created. And once that foundation is laid, it becomes easier to deepen relationships, influence decisions, and inspire trust. In the end, the halo and horn effects remind us of a simple truth. People don't see us as we are. They see us as they feel we are. Every interaction is a chance to choose which light you want to cast around yourself. Will you allow one careless moment to define you, or will you consciously create the glow that reflects your true worth? Chapter 3: Emotional Intelligence and Perception. Every powerful first impression begins with emotion. Long before logic shapes an opinion, feeling does. People might forget your words, but they rarely forget how you made them feel. Emotional intelligence, the ability to understand, express, and manage emotions, both yours and others, lies at the heart of this invisible connection. It determines not only how others perceive you, but also how you perceive them. When you meet someone new, your emotional state silently sets the tone. If you feel anxious, defensive, or distracted, that energy seeps into your words and gestures. The person you're speaking to may not know why, but they sense it. Conversely, if you radiate calm confidence, empathy, and genuine interest, others instinctively relax and respond with warmth. Human interactions are emotional exchanges before they are intellectual conversations. This is because our brains are wired for emotional resonance. Deep inside, mirror neurons respond to the emotions we observe in others, almost as if we're experiencing them ourselves. When someone smiles sincerely, our brain lights up with a sense of comfort and trust. When someone's tone carries tension or disinterest, we feel uneasy without fully knowing why. Emotional intelligence gives you control over this subtle dance. It allows you to send the right signals and interpret the ones you receive. Being emotionally intelligent doesn't mean suppressing emotion. It means understanding it. It begins with self-awareness, noticing what you're feeling in the moment and how those feelings affect your presence. If you walk into a room frustrated or nervous, your posture, face, and tone will unconsciously reveal it. But when you take a moment to center yourself, to breathe, reset, and shift your focus toward connection rather than performance, your energy changes. That shift is perceptible. People can feel it, even if they can't explain it. The second element is empathy, the ability to read others' emotions accurately. When you pay attention to subtle cues like facial expressions, pauses, and micro-reactions, you begin to sense what others are feeling. Are they comfortable, curious, guarded? Tuning into these signals allows you to respond in ways that make people feel seen and valued. That's what builds instant rapport. Emotional intelligence transforms ordinary meetings into meaningful interactions. Emotionally intelligent people also possess emotional regulation, the skill to remain composed when situations test them. A high-stress meeting, a skeptical interviewer, or an awkward silence doesn't rattle them. Instead, they stay steady, grounded, and kind. This calm confidence leaves a lasting impression of strength and reliability. People remember not just your competence, but your composure. Think of someone you admire, perhaps a leader, mentor, or friend. Chances are what draws you to them isn't only their talent or intellect, but the way they make you feel in their presence. They listen without rushing, speak with clarity, and respond with empathy. Their emotional intelligence creates safety, the feeling that you can trust them. That is the essence of a powerful first impression. When you master emotional intelligence, you no longer have to perform your best self, you simply express it. Your tone, gestures, and words begin to align naturally with your true intent. You become more aware, more grounded, and more connected. And when people meet you, they don't just see you, they feel you, the real, centered, confident version of who you are. Every great impression begins with emotional clarity. The moment you learn to manage your emotions instead of letting them manage you, you gain quiet influence, the kind that doesn't shout but speaks deeply to others' hearts. Because in the end, first impressions aren't just made by the mind, they're remembered by the heart. Chapter 4. Appearance and Presentation. Before you ever speak, you communicate. The way you dress, stand, and carry yourself sends a message long before words can. Your appearance is the first visual language people read, a reflection of how you value yourself, how you prepare, and how much you respect the moment you're in. It's not about vanity or fashion, it's about presence. When your outer presentation aligns with your inner confidence, you create harmony, and that harmony is instantly magnetic. Human beings are visual creatures. In a single glance, we draw conclusions about another person's confidence, professionalism, and personality. This process isn't always fair, but it's inevitable. The mind associates visual cues with deeper meanings, neatness with discipline, color with emotion, posture with strength. That's why appearance is not just about how you look, but about what you signal. You're telling the world a story before you even begin to speak it. A well-chosen outfit, clean grooming, and good posture say something powerful, that you care. You care about yourself, about the impression you make, and about the people you're meeting. You don't need expensive clothes or designer labels. What matters most is thoughtfulness. Clothing that fits well, suits the occasion, and reflects your character will always stand out. When you dress with intention, you project self-respect, and people naturally mirror that respect back to you. Posture is equally important. The way you stand or sit tells the world how you feel about yourself. Shoulders back, head held high, and an open stance signal confidence and approachability. A slouched back or folded arms, on the other hand, can suggest discomfort or defensiveness. Your body is a silent speaker. Even when you're quiet, it's having a conversation with the people around you. Colors, too, play a subtle yet powerful role in shaping perception. Bright tones can convey energy and friendliness, while darker shades often suggest authority and focus. The key is balance, wearing colors that complement both your personality and your environment. A pop of color can express creativity, while neutral tones can lend a sense of calm and professionalism. The goal is not to impress through flamboyance, but to express your best self with coherence and confidence. But appearance is only one part of the picture. True presentation extends beyond clothing and grooming. It's in your gestures, your smile, and the energy you bring into a room. People can sense authenticity. When you walk into a space with quiet assurance and genuine warmth, others feel it instantly. The combination of visual presence and emotional openness creates an impression that lingers. Remember, your appearance should never be a mask. It should be a mirror, reflecting the values, mindset, and confidence you already carry within. Dressing well and presenting yourself with care is not about pretending to be someone else. It's about honoring who you are and showing the world that you take yourself seriously. Every time you meet someone new, your presentation sets the stage for how they will experience you. It can open the door to conversation, trust, and opportunity. When appearance and authenticity walk hand in hand, you don't just look confident, you become confident. And that confidence, more than anything else, is what people remember. Chapter 5. The Body Speaks Louder. Long before words were invented, humans communicated through movement, expression, and presence. Our bodies were our first language, and in many ways, they still are. Every gesture, every glance, every subtle shift in posture sends a message. Even in silence, we are speaking all the time. The question is, what is your body saying about you? When you walk into a room, people notice your energy before they hear your voice. They see how you carry yourself, confident or uncertain, open or guarded. Your posture tells a story about your mindset. Standing tall with shoulders relaxed signals assurance and ease. Slouching or crossing your arms may unconsciously communicate insecurity or defensiveness. Body language reveals not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. Eye contact is one of the most powerful forms of nonverbal communication. It shows confidence, honesty, and engagement. When you meet someone's eyes with warmth and steadiness, you signal respect and interest. Too little eye contact may suggest disinterest or nervousness. Too much can feel intimidating. The balance lies in genuine connection, looking at someone not to impress them, but to see them. A few seconds of sincere eye contact can build trust faster than minutes of conversation. Then there's the smile, a universal gesture that transcends language, culture, and age. A genuine smile softens defenses and invites openness. It tells people they're welcome in your presence. But authenticity is key. A forced smile can be spotted instantly. True warmth cannot be faked. It comes from the heart, from a sense of ease within yourself. When you smile because you feel confident, calm, and curious, others respond to that energy naturally. Gestures, too, speak volumes. The way you move your hands while talking, the way you nod in agreement, or lean in slightly to listen. All of these small actions express attentiveness and empathy. Overly dramatic movements can feel theatrical, while stiff, restricted gestures may seem cold or distant. The goal is to move naturally, in sync with your words and emotions. Let your gestures flow from your thoughts rather than forcing them. When your body supports your message, people believe you without effort. Even your sense of space, how close or far you stand from others, affects how they perceive you. Too much distance can feel cold, too little can feel invasive. Learn to read comfort zones and respect personal boundaries. The best communicators are attuned to these subtle signals. They know how to make others feel both safe and seen. Silence, too, can speak. The way you hold yourself when you're not talking, your stillness, your breathing, your expression, can reveal confidence or anxiety. Calm, measured movements project control and presence. Fidgeting or avoiding stillness often signals nervousness. You don't need to fill every pause with movement or words. Sometimes quiet poise speaks the loudest. Remember, communication is not just what you say, it's what you show. People may forget the words you use, but they will remember the impression your presence leaves behind. Your body is your greatest instrument. Learn to play it with awareness. Move with intention, stand with confidence, and express yourself with sincerity. When your body language aligns with your voice and your words, you become unforgettable. People won't just hear you, they'll feel you. And that feeling, more than anything you can say, is what makes a first impression last. When your body language aligns with your voice and your words, you become unforgettable. People won't just hear you, they'll feel you. And that feeling, more than anything you can say, is what makes a first impression last. Chapter 6. the voice of confidence. Your voice is more than a tool for communication. It's an instrument that carries your thoughts, emotions, and intentions. It can command attention, inspire trust, or soothe tension. The way you speak tells people as much about you as the words you choose. Your tone, pitch, pace, and rhythm all come together to create an emotional impression. When your voice is calm, clear, and confident, people listen. Not because they have to, but because they want to. Confidence doesn't always mean volume. Some people believe that speaking loudly will make them sound powerful, but true confidence lies in control, not force. A confident voice is steady, deliberate, and clear. It fills the space without shouting. It shows that you are certain of your message and comfortable in your own presence. When you speak with ease, your audience senses ease. When your tone trembles with doubt, they sense that too. Tone is the emotional color of your voice. It can express warmth, excitement, authority, or empathy. The same sentence can feel welcoming or distant, depending on how it's said. People often decide whether they trust you not by your words, but by your tone. That's why emotional awareness is crucial. Your feelings travel through your voice. If you feel tense, impatient, or distracted, your voice will carry it. But if you feel composed, positive, and engaged, that calm assurance will resonate in every syllable. Your pace also matters. Speaking too quickly can make you seem nervous or unprepared, while speaking too slowly can sound uncertain or dull. The perfect pace is one that allows your thoughts to breathe. Pausing at the right moments not only gives your listener time to absorb your message, but also gives your words weight. Silence between sentences is powerful. It shows confidence and control. People who rush to fill every gap often appear uneasy, while those who master pauses appear grounded and intentional. Clarity is another sign of confidence. Pronouncing your words fully without mumbling or trailing off shows respect for both yourself and your listener. It says, "What I have to say matters." Clear speech is not about perfection. It's about being understood. When you articulate your thoughts with precision, your audience feels guided, not lost. Even the pitch of your voice influences perception. A voice that's too high-pitched can sound anxious, while one that's too low or monotone may feel detached. The ideal tone is natural, one that feels authentic to you but balanced in energy. Variety in pitch and rhythm makes your speech engaging. It draws people in and keeps their attention. The goal isn't to perform, but to connect. Your breathing also affects your voice more than most people realize. When you're nervous, your breath becomes shallow, and your voice follows, tight, strained, uncertain. But when you breathe deeply from your diaphragm, your voice gains strength and steadiness. A calm breath supports a calm tone. Before you speak in an important situation, take a moment to inhale deeply and exhale slowly. You'll notice your entire presence shift. Think of your voice as an extension of your character. It doesn't need to sound like anyone else's. It just needs to sound sure. Confidence doesn't come from having the loudest or smoothest voice. It comes from speaking with honesty, intention, and belief in your words. People respond not to perfection, but to authenticity wrapped in poise. When your voice carries confidence, you don't have to convince others of your worth. They feel it in every word. It's not just what you say, but how you say it, that leaves a mark. Speak with calm power, listen with empathy, and let your voice become a reflection of the strength and certainty within you. Chapter 7. The Power of Words. Words are bridges between minds. They shape how others perceive us, influence how they feel around us, and define how they remember us. A single sentence can inspire trust, open opportunity, or close a door forever. Words hold power, not only because of what they mean, but because of how they make people feel. When used with intention and sincerity, They can transform a simple introduction into a lasting impression. The first words you speak in any encounter carry immense weight. They set the tone for what follows, like the opening notes of a song. A greeting, a compliment, or even a simple, "It's good to meet you," can establish warmth and connection when said with genuine enthusiasm. People can sense the difference between politeness and authenticity. The former sounds routine, the latter feels alive. The key lies not in crafting perfect phrases, but in speaking from genuine interest and respect. Your choice of words reveals your mindset. Confident individuals use language that is positive, clear, and purposeful. They focus on what can be done, not what can't. Instead of saying, "I'm not sure," they say, "Let's find out." Instead of, "I hope this works," they say, "I believe this will help." Subtle shifts in wording reshape perception, both yours and others. When you speak with certainty and optimism, people naturally lean toward your perspective. The rhythm of your speech also shapes how others experience you. Long, complicated sentences can lose attention. Short, thoughtful phrases create impact. Simplicity gives strength to your message. Great communicators understand that clarity is not about using big words. It's about choosing the right ones. When your words flow naturally and clearly, they carry confidence. Listening is also part of the power of words. The most impressive communicators aren't those who talk the most, but those who listen the best. They make others feel heard and valued. When you respond thoughtfully to what someone says, you create trust. You show that you're not just waiting for your turn to speak, you're building a conversation. The warmth of your response often matters more than the brilliance of your statement. The tone of your words reflects your emotional intelligence. Empathy, kindness, and respect should thread through every sentence, especially in moments of disagreement or tension. Harsh words may win an argument, but gentle words win hearts. A calm tone can diffuse conflict faster than logic ever could. When you speak to uplift rather than to dominate, your presence becomes memorable for all the right reasons. How you introduce yourself also matters deeply. A confident introduction isn't a rehearsed speech, it's a moment of connection. Say your name clearly, smile, and share a few sincere words that show interest in the other person. Avoid rushing or over-explaining. The best introductions are simple and sincere. They invite curiosity rather than command attention. Remember, your words are your signature. Every sentence leaves an imprint, shaping how others recall you long after the moment has passed. People may forget your exact phrasing, but they'll remember how your words made them feel, respected, inspired, or valued. Speak with purpose, listen with heart, and choose language that reflects your best self. When your words carry authenticity and care, they become more than sound. They become presence. And in that presence, people feel the power of who you are. Chapter 8. Social and Professional Environments. Every environment you walk into, whether a networking event, job interview, social gathering, or client meeting, is a stage where impressions are quietly formed. Each setting has its own rhythm, its own unspoken rules. The ability to read and adapt to these environments is what separates those who simply attend from those who truly connect. Understanding how to make a great first impression in both social and professional spaces is not about changing who you are, but about expressing the best version of yourself in every situation. In professional settings, presence often speaks louder than performance. Before your work can speak for you, you must first represent yourself. When you enter a meeting or interview, people notice your posture, your expression, your handshake, and even your timing. Punctuality alone communicates reliability. A calm demeanor shows control. A genuine smile conveys confidence and warmth. The combination creates a quiet authority that commands respect without demanding it. Listening is one of the most powerful skills you can bring to professional interactions. In a world full of people eager to be heard, Those who listen stand out. When you give someone your full attention, maintaining eye contact, nodding, and responding thoughtfully, you show that you value their input. This simple act builds trust faster than any resume or title ever could. Professionals who master the art of attentive listening leave meetings remembered not just as competent, but as considerate and trustworthy. Equally important is adaptability. Different environments call for different tones and styles. A boardroom demands composure and clarity. A creative session invites openness and spontaneity. Social gatherings, meanwhile, call for warmth, humor, and lightness. The goal is not to blend in, but to tune in, to sense the energy of a space and align your communication accordingly. People who can move seamlessly between professionalism and approachability tend to leave the most lasting impressions. Confidence in professional contexts should never cross into arrogance. The most respected people project quiet confidence. They don't try to dominate the room, yet their presence is felt. They ask thoughtful questions, share insights when appropriate, and treat every person with equal courtesy, regardless of rank or role. This balance of humility and strength creates an aura of integrity that others naturally gravitate toward. Social settings, the same principles apply, but with softer edges. Here, warmth and curiosity matter most. People are drawn to those who show genuine interest in others, who remember names, who make others feel comfortable rather than impressed. A simple compliment, a well-timed laugh, or a kind word can dissolve tension and invite connection. Charisma in social environments isn't about being the loudest voice. It's about being the most present one. Authenticity remains the golden thread in every setting. Pretending to be someone you're not is exhausting and transparent. People can sense when you're performing rather than connecting. The best impression you can make is one rooted in truth, calm confidence, respect for others, and self-awareness. When your energy aligns with your intentions, people remember not just what you did, but how it felt to be around you. Whether in the boardroom or at a dinner table, first impressions are built on small moments, a handshake, a greeting, a few sincere words. Treat each moment as a reflection of your values. Carry yourself with quiet assurance, listen with empathy, and speak with purpose. When you do, every environment becomes an opportunity, not to prove your worth, but to share it. Chapter 9. Digital First Impressions. In today's world, your first impression often happens long before you ever meet someone in person. A potential employer looks at your LinkedIn profile, a client checks your website, or a new acquaintance scrolls through your social media. In a matter of seconds, they begin to form opinions about who you are, what you value, and whether they can trust you. Your digital presence is your modern-day handshake, silent, yet deeply revealing. Online, your words, images, and tone replace your body language and voice. Every post, comment, or photo contributes to the story people tell themselves about you. The internet has made impressions faster, broader, and more permanent than ever before. What once took minutes to form in person now takes milliseconds with a click or a scroll. That's why curating your digital presence with care and authenticity is not about image building, it's about integrity. Your online profile should reflect your true self, professional, thoughtful, and consistent. Whether it's LinkedIn, a personal website, or a portfolio, the goal is to ensure that what people see online matches the impression they would receive if they met you face-to-face. A professional photo, a clear and engaging bio, and authentic language can instantly create credibility. Small details, spelling, tone, or even how you respond to messages all communicate your character. In professional spaces like LinkedIn or email, clarity and courtesy matter most. How you write says as much about you as what you write. Short, well-structured messages show respect for the reader's time. A polite greeting and a warm closing create a sense of professionalism and trust. In virtual meetings, the same rules of presence apply. Posture, eye contact, tone, and preparation all shape perception. Even through a screen, energy is felt. Social media adds another layer to your digital impression. What you share, your opinions, humor, or daily moments, gives others a window into your personality and priorities. Authenticity is essential here, but so is awareness. The internet remembers everything, and even casual posts can shape professional perceptions. Before you post, ask yourself, does this reflect who I truly am? Would I be comfortable with this representing me to someone who's never met me? Consistency across platforms strengthens trust. When people see the same tone of professionalism, kindness, and authenticity on your social profiles, they sense stability, and stability breeds confidence. Discrepancies between your real-life self and your online persona create confusion. A strong first impression online comes from harmony between who you say you are and who you show you are. Virtual interactions may lack physical presence, but they can still create emotional impact. A thoughtful comment, a sincere compliment, or a well-crafted message can stand out in a sea of digital noise. In a world where so much communication feels automated, genuine attention has become rare, and therefore powerful. Taking time to respond personally, express gratitude, or acknowledge someone's work builds lasting digital connections. Your digital footprint is more than a reflection of your identity. It's an extension of your influence. It tells people how seriously you take your craft, your reputation, and your relationships. A well-tended digital presence can open doors you never knew existed. It can introduce you, represent you, and advocate for you when you aren't even in the room. The truth is, first impressions no longer wait for introductions. They happen in pixels and posts, in headlines and hyperlinks. When you shape your digital presence with awareness, authenticity, and intention, you make sure the first story people read about you is the right one, the one that truly represents your best self. Chapter 10. Cross-Cultural Impressions. We live in a world more connected than ever before. A single conversation can bridge continents. A single meeting can unite people from vastly different backgrounds. In this global landscape, first impressions take on an even greater meaning because what feels warm and respectful in one culture may seem distant or inappropriate in another. To leave a positive impression across borders, one must learn not only to express well but to understand deeply. Culture shapes how people perceive confidence, respect, and sincerity. In some countries, direct eye contact signals honesty and strength. In others, it may be seen as bold or even disrespectful. A firm handshake may be a sign of professionalism in one place, while a soft nod or bow conveys the same in another. Gestures, tone, and even silence hold different meanings depending on where you are. The key to making a strong impression across cultures lies in awareness, the willingness to learn before you act. The first step is humility. When you meet people from a culture different from your own, begin with curiosity, not assumption. Ask questions, observe customs, and mirror the level of formality you encounter. A small effort to understand someone's traditions or language communicates deep respect. You don't need to be an expert. Sincerity is more powerful than perfection. A greeting in someone's native tongue, a gesture that honors their etiquette, or even an acknowledgement of your effort to learn goes a long way. Listening becomes even more essential in cross-cultural settings. Beyond words, listen for rhythm, pauses, and tone. Some cultures prize emotional expression, others value restraint. Some appreciate open discussion, others prefer quiet contemplation. Adapting to these nuances isn't about changing your identity. It's about finding harmony in communication. When you adjust your approach to make others feel comfortable, you build bridges of trust that transcend language. Your appearance and body language also speak differently across cultures. In one context, bright colors might signal creativity and confidence. In another, they might feel inappropriate or distracting. Personal space, gestures, and even smiling vary widely in meaning. What's universal, however, is authenticity. No matter where you are, people recognize and appreciate sincerity. Respect, kindness, and genuine interest form a common language understood by all. In professional international environments, awareness of etiquette can determine success. Exchanging business cards, greeting order, and conversation topics vary across regions. For example, small talk is essential in some cultures and avoided in others. Understanding these details not only prevents misunderstanding, but also demonstrates thoughtfulness, a quality admired universally. Preparation shows respect, and respect builds trust. Technology has made cross-cultural interactions part of daily life. Virtual meetings may connect you with colleagues from multiple time zones, each with their own norms. Here, flexibility and sensitivity become invaluable. Acknowledging time differences, learning correct pronunciations, and showing patience during communication barriers all leave a powerful impression of empathy and professionalism. The more you learn about other cultures, the more you realize how much humanity we share. Beneath the differences in language and custom lies a universal desire to be respected, understood, and valued. When you approach every interaction with empathy, humility, and openness, your impression transcends culture. A strong first impression across cultures isn't built on knowing every rule. It's built on heart. It's the courage to be kind, the patience to listen, and the respect to honor what's different. When you embody these values, you become the kind of person who can connect with anyone, anywhere. And that is the true mark of global confidence, the ability to make every person from any culture feel seen and respected. Chapter 11. Consistency and Authenticity. First impressions may open the door, but consistency and authenticity are what keep it open. Anyone can create a momentary impact, a smile, a polished introduction, a confident tone. But lasting impressions are built over time, through the steady alignment of who you are, what you say, and how you act. People may be drawn to charm at first, but they stay because of integrity. Consistency is the proof of character, and authenticity is its heartbeat. In a world where image often overshadows truth, authenticity stands out like light in the fog. It doesn't mean being perfect, nor does it mean revealing everything about yourself. Authenticity is the quiet confidence of being real, of allowing your genuine thoughts, emotions, and values to guide your behavior. It's when your outer presentation matches your inner self. You don't wear confidence as a costume. You express it as a reflection of who you truly are. Consistency is what transforms that authenticity into trust. People learn who you are not by what you say once, but by what you repeat through your actions. When your behavior matches your words again and again, others begin to rely on you. They stop questioning your motives and start believing in your sincerity. Consistency builds credibility, and credibility creates influence. This alignment doesn't happen by chance. It takes awareness and intention. Many people lose trust not because they mean to deceive, but because they fail to stay congruent. They act one way in public and another in private. They speak kindly, but act impatiently. They promise confidence, but project insecurity. The smallest cracks between words and actions can weaken even the strongest impression. But when you strive for unity between your thoughts, emotions, and expression, your presence becomes whole. Authenticity also brings freedom. When you stop trying to impress and start focusing on expressing your true self, you feel lighter, more natural. People can feel that. They sense when you're comfortable in your own skin, and it puts them at ease. Authenticity isn't loud. It doesn't need to demand attention. It draws people in with quiet honesty and emotional warmth. Being consistent doesn't mean being predictable or rigid. It means being reliably genuine. You can adapt to situations, evolve your style, and still stay true to your principles. Authentic people grow without losing themselves. They learn without pretending. They stand firm in their values, even when situations challenge them. And that stability creates a sense of trust that no performance can replicate. There's something magnetic about people whose words and actions always align. You don't wonder where they stand or what they mean. You simply know. They radiate a calm strength that comes from self-clarity. They don't need to prove their worth. They embody it. Their presence feels grounded, their energy feels honest, and their impression lasts because it's real. In the end, authenticity and consistency are not just about how others see you, they're about how you see yourself. When you live and express your truth, you stop chasing approval and start building connection. You become the same person in every room, confident, kind, and credible. And that kind of impression doesn't fade after a meeting or a moment. It endures in the memory of everyone you meet. Chapter 12. Repairing a Bad First Impression. No one gets it right every time. Even the most confident and composed people have moments when their first impression doesn't go as planned. Perhaps you said the wrong thing, felt nervous, or misread the atmosphere. Maybe circumstances worked against you, a stressful day, a misunderstanding, or just bad timing. Whatever the cause, a poor first impression can feel discouraging, but it doesn't have to define you. The truth is, while first impressions are powerful, they are not permanent. Human beings are forgiving by nature when sincerity meets humility. People can sense when your intentions are genuine. What they respond to most is not perfection, but honesty. The moment you recognize that your initial impression didn't reflect your true self, you've already taken the first step toward repairing it, awareness. From there, it's about grace, patience, and consistent authenticity. The first rule of recovering from a bad impression is don't panic. Overcompensation often makes things worse. Nervousness can lead to forced charm, excessive talking, or unnatural enthusiasm, all of which can deepen the wrong impression. Instead, take a step back. Give yourself space to breathe and approach the next interaction calmly and naturally. Confidence grows through composure, not correction. If the opportunity allows, acknowledge the moment with sincerity. A simple, light-hearted comment such as, "I think I came across a bit rushed earlier. It's been one of those days," can reset the tone. It shows self-awareness, humility, and a willingness to connect genuinely. People appreciate honesty more than flawless presentation. When you own your humanity, you invite empathy. In professional contexts, action speaks louder than apology. If your first meeting didn't go well, let your follow-up reflect improvement. Send a thoughtful message, deliver quality work, or simply show up better prepared next time. Consistency in behavior over time can completely reshape perception. People may forget what went wrong, but they won't forget the effort you made to make it right. Listening also plays a vital role in repairing impressions. When you focus on understanding others, their perspective, concerns, or expectations, you naturally rebuild trust. Listening conveys respect and humility, two qualities that dissolve tension faster than words. The person who feels heard begins to see you in a new light. It's important, too, to let go of the fear of judgment. Sometimes we give others' opinions too much power over our confidence. Remember, one bad impression does not define your worth. You are more than a moment. Growth happens when you allow yourself to learn, rather than label yourself by past mistakes. A single misstep can become a meaningful turning point if it teaches you awareness and empathy. Time has a way of softening perceptions. As people get to know you, your consistency and authenticity will naturally rewrite their initial assumptions. You don't need to erase a bad impression, you just need to outshine it with your truth. Every person has stumbled in a first meeting. The ones who recover best are those who remain kind to themselves and others in the process. They understand that connection is built not on flawless performance, but on human understanding. A poor first impression might close a door for a moment, But sincerity, patience, and authenticity can open it again, sometimes even wider than before. Because when people see your effort to improve, they don't just notice your image, they notice your character. And character, in the end, is the strongest impression of all. Chapter 13. Leaving a lasting impact. A great first impression opens a door, but a lasting impression builds a bridge. What truly defines connection is not how you begin an encounter, but how you remain in someone's memory long after it ends. The most powerful people aren't remembered for their perfection. They're remembered for how they made others feel, for the sense of presence and respect they carried wherever they went. A lasting impression is not made through grand gestures or eloquent speeches, but through genuine humanity expressed in simple moments. Every interaction, no matter how brief, leaves an emotional footprint. It could be the warmth in your voice, the sincerity in your smile, or the care in your follow-up message. People might not recall your exact words, but they will always remember the feeling you left behind. To create that kind of impact, you must focus less on impressing and more on connecting. When people feel seen, valued, and uplifted in your presence, they remember you, not as someone who wanted attention, but as someone who gave it. Leaving a lasting impression begins with intention. Approach each meeting, call, or message with the mindset of contributing something positive, a kind word, a thoughtful question, a moment of encouragement. When your goal is to add value rather than gain approval, your authenticity shines naturally. People are drawn to those who bring light into their day without expecting anything in return. Another key to being remembered is consistency in kindness. It's easy to be warm when things are going well, but the real test of character is how you treat people when circumstances aren't convenient. Courtesy toward the server, patience with the assistant, or grace during conflict. These quiet moments define you more than any first greeting. People may forget your title or accomplishments, but they never forget how you made them feel when they were vulnerable. Follow-up also strengthens your impression. After an important meeting or a meaningful conversation, a brief note of gratitude or reflection can leave a deeper mark than the initial interaction. A simple message, "It was a pleasure speaking with you," or "I appreciated our conversation," reinforces connection. It tells people you value them beyond the moment. Thoughtfulness is rare in a world that moves too fast, and because of that, it stands out. To leave a lasting impact, you must also stay true to your essence. Don't change yourself to fit every situation. Instead, let your values guide your actions in every environment. The most memorable people are those who remain grounded, who express humility in success, grace in challenge, and gratitude in every exchange. Authenticity builds trust that endures beyond any single meeting. Sometimes, leaving a lasting impression isn't about what you do, but about what you allow others to experience. When you listen without judgment, when you inspire without preaching, when you make others feel capable and respected, you become someone they remember not for your achievements, but for your humanity. In the end, the art of leaving a lasting impression is not about performance, it's about presence. Be genuine, be kind, be consistent. Your words may fade, your appearance may be forgotten, but the feeling of authenticity, that quiet assurance of being in the presence of someone real, will remain. A true first impression doesn't end when you walk away. It continues in the mind of the person you've met, shaped by the echo of your sincerity. To leave a lasting impact, don't focus on being unforgettable. Focus on being meaningful. The world doesn't remember perfect people. It remembers those who made others feel valued, seen, and inspired. Mastering the art of first impressions. Every day we cross paths with people who might change our lives, and people whose lives we might change, all beginning with a single moment of connection. A first impression is more than an introduction. It's an invitation. It's the spark that can lead to trust, opportunity, friendship, or love. And though it happens in seconds, its influence can last for years. Throughout this book, you've explored the power of those fleeting moments, how the mind makes instant judgments, how emotion shapes perception, and how authenticity can turn a meeting into a memory. You've learned that a strong first impression isn't about being flawless. It's about being fully present. It's about showing up as your best self, calm, confident, and sincere. The truth is, the art of first impressions begins long before you meet anyone. It starts within you, in how you see yourself. When you respect who you are, you project that respect naturally. When you cultivate self-awareness, empathy, and purpose, they flow effortlessly through your words, your gestures, and your energy. People can sense it. They respond not to perfection, but to authenticity aligned with quiet confidence. Remember that a great first impression isn't a mask to be worn, but a mirror to be polished. It reflects the values you live by, the care you give to yourself and others, and the consistency that defines your character. The impression you make on others will always begin with the impression you hold of yourself. If you see yourself as capable, kind, and worthy, the world will too. But most importantly, understand that impressions are not one-time events. They are living, breathing experiences shaped by every moment of interaction. You can repair them, redefine them, and strengthen them through your choices. Each new encounter is a chance to express growth, grace, and genuine humanity. So as you walk into every new situation, whether it's a meeting, a stage, a conversation, or even a virtual exchange, carry this truth with you. You are always communicating something, even before you speak. Make that communication intentional. Let your presence express calmness, your words reflect sincerity, and your actions demonstrate respect. Because in the end, the real power of a first impression is not in being remembered, it's in being trusted. People may forget your face or your words, but they will never forget how you made them feel in that first moment. And if you can make them feel valued, respected, and inspired, then you've already mastered the art of connection. You never get a second chance to make a first impression, but when you make the first one count, you rarely need a second. 7-day practice plan to strengthen your first impressions. Making a powerful first impression is not about changing who you are, it's about revealing your best self. The following 7-day plan is designed to help you put the lessons from this book into action. Each day focuses on one essential element of first impressions. Take it one step at a time, reflect honestly, and you'll begin to feel a transformation not only in how others see you, but in how you see yourself. Day 1. Awareness. Observe yourself honestly. Spend the first day simply observing. Notice how you enter a room, how you sit, how you make eye contact, and how you speak. Pay attention to your posture, tone, and facial expressions when interacting with others. At the end of the day, write down your observations without judgment. Ask yourself, what do my actions say about me before I even speak? Awareness is the foundation of change. You cannot improve what you don't notice. Day 2. Presence. Practice. Mindful confidence. Today, focus on being fully present in every interaction. Put away distractions when speaking to someone. Listen deeply, rather than planning your next sentence. Take a moment to breathe before responding. Presence communicates confidence and respect. When you give someone your complete attention, you make them feel valued, and that creates an unforgettable impression. Day 3. Appearance. Refine your visual message. Take a fresh look at how you present yourself. Does your appearance reflect who you truly are and the impression you want to make? Choose outfits that make you feel confident, comfortable, and authentic. Groom carefully, stand tall, and move with intention. When you feel good about how you look, you project quiet assurance that others can sense instantly. Day 4. Voice. Speak with calm and clarity. Today is about vocal confidence. Record yourself speaking or practice reading aloud. Listen to your tone, pace, and articulation. Are you rushing? Speaking too softly? Practice pausing between sentences, breathing deeply, and letting your voice carry warmth and clarity. Remember, people don't just hear your words, they feel your energy through your voice. Day 5. Words. Communicate with intention. Choose your words carefully today. Speak with purpose and positivity. Replace filler words with silence. When you greet someone, smile and use their name. Offer sincere compliments and show curiosity through thoughtful questions. Words are the bridge between your thoughts and others' perceptions. Speak less to impress and more to connect. Day 6. Emotional intelligence. Respond, don't react. Today's focus is emotional balance. Notice how you feel in interactions. Are you calm, anxious, impatient, or distracted? When something frustrates you, pause before reacting. Choose your response consciously. Emotional control shows maturity and confidence. When you manage your emotions gracefully, others feel safe around you, and safety builds trust faster than anything else. Day 7. Connection. Leave a positive trace. End the week by practicing one simple but profound habit. Leave every person you meet feeling better than before. Offer genuine kindness, gratitude, or encouragement. Send a follow-up message to someone you've recently met, simply to thank them for their time or conversation. Small gestures create lasting impressions. People remember how you make them feel, and kindness is the most enduring form of influence. At the end of these 7 days, take time to reflect on how you feel. Notice how others respond to you, not just in their words, but in their warmth, attentiveness, and trust. You'll begin to see that powerful first impressions aren't about technique or performance. They're about alignment, when your mind, heart, and presence all work in harmony. Repeat this plan often. With every week of mindful practice, your confidence will deepen, your awareness will sharpen, and your authenticity will shine more naturally. You'll no longer need to try to make a good impression. You'll simply live as one. Because when who you are inside matches what the world sees outside, every first impression becomes the beginning of something meaningful. As you reach the end of the power of first impression, take a quiet moment to reflect, not just on what you've learned, but on who you've become through the journey of listening. This book was never only about how others see you. It's about how you see yourself, how you carry your energy into the world, and how you use every encounter, even the smallest one, as a chance to make a meaningful connection. Each moment of your life is a doorway. Every introduction, every smile, every meeting is a new opportunity to show the world your best self, not the most polished version, but the most authentic one. The person who listens deeply, who respects others, who radiates calm confidence and quiet kindness, that's the person who leaves an impression that never fades. Remember, first impressions aren't about perfection. They're about presence. They're about showing up fully, with your heart open, your words thoughtful, and your intentions clear. When you live this way, you don't have to try to impress anyone. You simply express who you are. So, as you close this chapter and step back into your own world, carry this truth with you. You have the power to inspire trust, to spark connection, and to leave behind something far greater than an impression, a feeling of warmth, respect, and humanity. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Now go forward and let your presence speak before your words ever need to.